Hi, this is Curtis Walker. I'm here with comedy on the sofa. Yeah? South London style. You get me, blood?
Mr. Curtis Walker.
Hello, Miss Donna Spence.
The godfather of comedy.
The godfather of comedy, is that how it goes?
That's what I was told.
And that's why you're the oldest man. But I'm not the oldest man standing. You got Eddie, Robbie, even Slim, Richard.
They're the oldest ones, yeah?
Older than me.
So acting, writing, comedy.
Yeah. Chess.
All of those. Is there anything else to add to your CV?
Tennis, I play tennis. I play a mean game of pool, which I don't like to advertise about because I'm that good.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
So which came first? The acting? The
pool.
The pool came first?
Pool.
When did you start playing pool?
When I was about 15.
Is that when you started?
I started playing pool in a pub. I wasn't old enough to drink. But I used to go in there because they had really nice pool tables. And I was there for about a year and got to know everybody. I was really cool until the bartender worked. The owner realised I wasn't buying no drink. I was just playing pool and taking people's money. It was good times.
You were taking people's money because you was that good at pool?
I was that good. We played from primary school. That's what ghetto children do. Pool and table tennis.
How was your family about that, getting into drugs and stuff?
Didn't know,
really?
care. They didn't know, didn't care. It was a matter of you go to school, get educated and come home. That was all my parents really were on.
Well, I would say your stand-up is almost the same because you are actually in control. When you're on stage, you literally have the audience in your hands.
I've learned that, I think, for me, as you go on and do it, I respect it, you know what I mean? I respect it. And
Definitely
I think
shows.
I demand that the audience respect it a bit. And sometimes you can be seen as heavy-handed because I know, you do gigs on the circuit with jongleurs and comedy store and certain places where drink is a priority for them,
Absolutely.
Alcohol is a priority, and then they start the show. And I kind of won't really get going until everybody's kind of settled.
Yes.
And I really do want that. I want you to listen because I think what I've got to say is quite entertaining. And once you give me the chance to entertain you, you will be entertained, as the Gladiator said.
Well, do you think there's a difference between the mainstream when you're doing comedy? Do you remember when you first started doing comedy, obviously in front of a black audience? I know they call it urban, but a black audience. Yeah. Because I'm old school. I call it a black audience. I call it black audience too. So yeah. I watched you at 291.
22. Was it 22s?
291. The 291 Club. And you came out.
I didn't do the 2-2 that way.
The 2-2. I don't know. Did you do that one?
No. I couldn't get the gig. I couldn't get the 2-2.
Well, when you find out, you let me know. But I watched you do the 291.
Yeah.
And you had the audience then, and there was a guy.
That was me and Ishmael.
Yeah. Well, I think that night was just you.
Oh really?
And you can see you still kind of look the same, but slimmer and younger. Yeah. Obviously. Do you know what I mean? Still cute.
Weren't we all?
Still cute. Jesus. Yeah. Weren't we all? I remember it well. Weren't we all? And I could. You had the audience then. You were just in control. You were talking about the thing that used to always be the case when guys drove across London Bridge and get stopped by the police, and it just tore the place up. Okay. And you had the audience then. You never seem to have any fear when you get on that stage. Do you still feel nervous?
Oh yeah. You do. I always, even now, I feel nervous. It's not the nerves that kind of debilitates you. Right. It's the nerves that says, "Come on."
Adrenaline. It's the adrenaline.
It's that. And if you lose that, I think you've lost it all. I've worked with actors just dead behind the eyes. There's no fear, but they're just regurgitating stuff they've.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's nothing wrong with that. But I still feel if you're performing something you've performed, like we all do, we perform stuff we perform forever. Mm-hmm. Every time you do it, it's got to look like the first time you've done it.
And it's got to feel
for the audience, because I always respect the fact that the audience are giving me the time of day to listen. So therefore, let me entertain you, And it kind of makes you more, I think, rounded as a performer, because you've got to bear in mind you're doing gigs in front of so many different cultures, so many different people, that you have to be able to tickle every funny bone.
Yes.
And a lot of performers come off and say, "Oh, that audience weren't that audience horrible, and wasn't that audience?" And I think, there's a degree of that, but take some responsibility,
Absolutely.
because you came here, they're paying you to entertain them, so give them some entertainment. And if they're not laughing there, find something else. As long as you're not compromising who you are, find somewhere else to get it,
Can you ever say then? Because a lot of comics would say, "Oh, I mean, I can even say I've had a bad night."
Yeah.
Do you remember having a bad night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's times that comedy ain't supposed to be in that building. Do you know what I mean? There's times that comedy. I remember one of my early gigs as a solo performer was in a ring. You know, in a boxing match. And they booked you to do comedy, man. And my agent set it up, and I remember thinking, why would you do this to me? There's 2 gigs like that that just scarred me for life. But I remember being in the ring. Lennox Lewis is sitting down there as a, you know, as a guest of this boxing show, and I kind of admire Lennox. And I'm thinking, these are kind of my heroes, and I love boxing. I'm a big boxing fan, and a lot of my heroes were in the room, and I'm dying. And not only am I dying, every time somebody heckles, I turn, and it's for the audience is right round you.
Yeah,
that's where comedy shouldn't live.
Yeah.
Because the audience is right round you and you can't see anybody, and they shout, and when you turn to deal with them, they've gone quiet, and then somebody else has picked up their and then when you turn around and it's Lennox Lewis heckling you, it's not a nice place to be, because how far can you take it? You can't threaten him and say, well, if you don't...
You can't say that because you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. So and then an oil rig, my agent sent me on an oil rig once, and you die on your ass and you're trapped, you die. I mean, there's no funny there. There's funny there, but I couldn't find it. That's what I'm going to say. Hold my hands up. There's funny there, and what I found hilarious was, at the time, an oil rig filled with men. And all I talked about was the frustration they must be feeling, and all of those things, which I thought was hilarious.
But they didn't.
Too close to the bone, I reckon. Too close. Way too close to the bone. I died, and I mean,
how did you bring yourself back from that? When you
didn't.
Die?
This is my point. I died, and I'm on the oil rig.
Yeah.
So it's not like I can hail a cab and take a bus home. You know, I gotta wait for them to helicopter people back. So I gotta wait the shift back. Oh boy.
But you know, when you go back to your room or wherever you go, and because the next couple of days, because they only said the saying is you're only as good as your last gig.
Yeah, which is very true.
Right. So the next couple of days that come along, how do you bring yourself back to go? Well, that was just the oil ring. That was just the box ring.
Yeah, because you mark in the diary no more oil rig gigs, and it's easy because they don't come along very often, so it hasn't really affected my earnings because I've cancelled oil rigs. I don't care what you're doing on the oil rig. Man just said, why we having a dance now? It's the oil rig. I ain't going. You know what I mean? It's done. So that was alright. In regards to like after every bad gig, I'll get back easy, you know? Right. I get back easy because I think with experience it becomes easier to the formula. There's a formula to comedy, and all you got to do is keep changing that for yourself to keep yourself interested. The longer you're in it, you got to make yourself happy and interested.
Who was out before you came out? I mean, because you obviously came out as you, Robbie, Eddie, Ishmael.
Yeah, but Robbie and Eddie aren't now they're doing comedy, but they're actors. My heroes in the acting world. Eddie Nestor, particularly Roger Griffiths. I don't know. These are people. When I was young, these were my heroes because they were performing. They used to come into schools and do theatre and education. Calvin Simpson, who's Junior Simpson's brother, who passed away, was another kind of mentor to myself and Ishmael at the time, my partner, my comedy partner at the time, was our mentors, you know? So we looked at these guys, black guys, doing things, and we thought, wow. And then when Calvin told us he gets paid, you were like, what? You get paid? They pay you to do that foolish And you think, yeah, man, this is a avenue, you know? But yeah, the heroes and the mentors were so important. It's like I sometimes take that for granted when people look at me and say these certain things to me, because I'm very uncomfortable with that, like praise and that. It's a job and I do it to the best of my ability. But then I remember if you think back when you were younger, I had these guys in such esteem, and when they spoke to me, it kind of, boy, I felt good, you know?
I think that's what you are to other people as well.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm slowly realising that.
Because I remember even going, oh my gosh, Curtis Walker.
Yeah.
Because you do, and then you go, oh, he's a real person. And your sarcasm, because you're so cynical, it's unreal.
Very cynical.
But it saves the day. It makes people feel comfortable. As long as you're not the butt of the joke, then it makes people feel really, really comfortable. Yeah. But what do you prefer? Acting? Is there a preference, or do you like them all the same?
For me, it's stand up all the way. If I could make a good living from stand up, I would just do it forever. But it's because everybody wants to perform and act, and you know, a lot of comics that I've seen, once they've hit it and made a success of themselves, they stop doing stand up, which is great. You must, you do what you want to do. But I love films.
Yes.
I love movies, but I really enjoy the other side of films. I enjoy the making, the cameraman and the sound and the lights and the sets and the scripts. I enjoy that aspect of it. It's not a big drive for me to be in front of the camera. That's
You
not
can do both,
really my motivation. But stand up will always be my first.
It's your
love.
first. I have to ask you, because we have to go there. Real McCoy.
Real McCoy, wow, yeah.
How did that come about? I mean,
tear in my eye,
how old was you? How did that call go? What happened?
With Real McCoy, it was kind of a birth because the black comedy circuit was growing.
Right.
You know, I'm going to name some names that nobody cares about, but our history determines where we're going. So you had, at the time, as I recall it, the legend Felix Dexter, Sheila Hyde, nobody remember.
I do.
All right.
Yes.
Sheila Hyde. I think even you could even put Mars in there. Mars Crawford, Junior Simpson, John Simmet later come in as a promoter and a Lucozade holding guy. Yeah. John Simmet used to put his set on his Lucozade bottle.
Oh, is that what he did? That's why it's called the name. Okay.
He always had a Lucozade. His comedian always had a Lucozade bottle in his hand, and you'd wonder what's he holding the Lucozade? Like he's sponsored.
John
and all it was,
who's Dixie now, isn't he?
Yeah, in Teletubbies.
Yeah.
He had his set on the thing, which I found intriguing. It's very interesting. But yeah, so it emerged in the Deptford, the Albany Empire. Deptford was where the first of the real black comedy shows started. Okay. It was where a black audience were paying money to come and see black performers, and although it wasn't racially specific, but the humour was specific, and that was beautiful. Because up until there, we had shows like Love Thy Neighbour and stuff. Although we weren't on telly with that time.
And stuff
Mind Your Language was the on time, or the Crime Watch. Keep them peeled. Yes. You'd watch some black people. I'm doing very well, but thanks, bro. So the Real McCoy was born out of that circuit. Myself and Ishmael, Short, Sharp and Shocking. Yes. Colette Johnson, Luella Gideon were really doing well on the circuit. Two women as well, which was powerful and very strong women, I must say. Yeah. Charlie Hanson, a producer.
Fantastic.
When we started, me and Ishmael wrote to Charlie Hanson and saying, look, we're a doubler. Because we did all these flyers, me and Ishmael, who are Curtis and Ishmael. And we just had silhouettes, and we stuck them up all around Brixton with a phone number on it. And we were
and it was landline them times, there was no mobile.
Oh, God, yeah. Right. I'm praying that my dad didn't answer. But, what? Who? Get your backside, boy. We did all that, and then we phoned Charlie Hanson. We heard a whisper. This man had done No Problem.
Yeah, he done No Problem.
No Problem. Him and Humphrey Barker. He was a producer. And then we got his name. So we invited him down to Harlesden.
Oh wow!
Where myself and Ishmael set up this night, much in a place like this, nice like this. And then we performed. Lucky to perform in a corner of a room. And we had Speedy, who was a vocalist, singer. Oh, wow. Yeah, gorgeous. Nobby, another singer. And
the names.
They did songs, and me and Ishmael did like little sketches. Mm-hmm. And we had Charlie Hanson and the BBC commissioning.
Wow.
Commissioning, what do you call it? Commissioning.
Commissioning. Yeah.
Were in the room and surrounded black people. So
and then
two white faces.
Right, so you know that right.
But and then after that we kind of. It sparked in them, and then Charlie, who later said that was the reason the Real McCoy started. I didn't know that at the time, that it was the birth of the Real McCoy. But he said that was the night that him and the guy said, why don't we do something?
You guys have to...
Really so that we don't get no props for that. But to be honest, I didn't know that until a couple of years ago, when they did the anniversary.
Well, I'm glad I asked you.
Yeah, right, they did the anniversary, and then Charlie went up and said that, and I thought, wow, that's so interesting. We didn't know. But it's about having an idea, and then I had so much belief in what we did and what I do. You had, when you're young, that energy, you can't buy that, Mm-hmm. Stand up is wonderful, but you can go anywhere. It's like anybody who's watched stand up and watched people like Dave Allen and Richard Pryor, really watch. Not Pryor, although Pryor's done some brilliant stuff. There's one with Pryor in a kind of drug state, where he's in a very small cafe, and that's. To me,
I know the one.
Everybody talks about Sunset Strip, but that to me is the most honest stand-up I've ever seen, because it's not the best show in the world, but every stand-up comedian should watch it, because that's where we live. That's where you live, because you're there, and he's obviously tripping and he's out there, but he's in the moment, he's there,
Yes.
And all the warts and all, and the pain and the
Everything.
tears. And as a stand-up, you watch that and you feel every non-laugh. We feel everybody go, huh? What?
Yeah, that coldness.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Did you say that? And you can hear the audience because there's a little room. And if it was I would do comedy like that every night in just a small room. I know everybody's going for arenas and selling out
but
the
you
world.
like that's more intimate.
But that's why I'm brought. Because I like comedy where I can see you, man. And when you're dying, I want to see that bead of sweat slowly roll. That's where I find it. Boy, that's it, man. You're living now, innit? Yeah. All your tweets, all your Facebook likes. Now you're feeling it, innit?
You can feel that pain. That's
I love
stressful,
that.
though.
And then when you dig out of that, man, I'd love you forever. When you see a comedian go down, I've seen that before. You know? When you see a comedian go down,
I've heard you.
You see a comedian go down as low as they can go, where the audience is just like, does anybody know his mum's address? Somebody phone his mum because this brother needs help. And then to go that low, and then you come. All right. I saw a comedian called Dave Johns, right? White comic.
Yes.
Died.
Wasn't he a presenter on some program?
Maybe years ago.
Yeah.
But he died on his bottom, man. And the man died, and then took the die and turned it on the audience. Like, what do you mean you don't like me? I'm funny. And he's telling them he's funny. And he's telling them he's funny. He does a joke. Tell them he's funny again. And one person laughs. See? He likes me. And the show
become personal.
The show just turned, and he became,
We take it so personal.
Most powerful thing I've seen.
If that one person isn't laughing, which Slim had said as well, it's true. We concentrate on the one person who's not laughing instead of looking at all the other people are laughing. Yeah. We take it so personal.
That is true because you're in a room and you could have 500 people laughing and there's one person sitting.
Yeah. You're the face behind the NHS organ donor register.
Yeah, I did that.
You are responsible for 10 million people registering. Do you know that?
No, I'm not. I hear you. I hear you.
Curtis.
But I would love to say that, but I can't say that.
Well, I read it.
Yeah.
Unless I read it wrong and they word it wrong.
No, you read it wrong.
Curtis.
Yeah. I did the campaign. And at the end of the campaign, they had reached 10 million. But it wasn't that, if it was that, would I be sitting there talking to you like that? If I could control 10 million people, you know what I mean?
Curtis.
Yes, I would, Donna. That's the point I'm making.
You would, because
No, but
you are responsible.
Yeah,
you are responsible for something.
I helped. It
was lovely to see those posters around and seeing your face. I mean, for one, it was like, there's a black man. Yeah. And then you go, that's Curtis.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you are responsible, whether you have, even if it's the tiniest amount,
tiniest amount. I'll take the tiny amount. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't like compliments.
No, but there's no way. I know that it was at a number that it reached. All right,
so let's say 4 million. Let's say 4 million.
I was part of it. I don't know how many.
Well,
I was part of it. And I was very proud.
All I can say was that you've done such an excellent job, and I know that you support ACLT.
I love the ACLT, and we're doing that campaign now where it's about saliva and taking your thing.
Now, hold on now. What was I Bullet Boy. You're in Bullet Boy.
Bullet Boy was... Youngers. Well, I just felt with all the confusion between Dutchie and myself about who makes the best jerk chicken, it was time to put the matter to bed once and for all. Because, Pickup, don't have room in it for more than one jerk chicken.
And it's me that, right there.
You see that? Don't interrupt me, man. I'm talking.
Me that.
I'm talking. That's the line. You don't jump into my
You.
Get over here. Let the chicken do the thing.
Youngers.
Which didn't get recommissioned this year.
It didn't?
Nah.
It was so good. I like that.
I like to get paid some bills. And it didn't get recommissioned. But it was a great experience. Youngers was a TV show on E4.
It was excellent.
E4. And working with young people is so important for the more mature.
Okay. I was going to ask you that, how that was, because I sometimes in comedy in front of young people, I'm a bit like, not sure. I'm going to ask you that. How is that for you? How do you find it?
I love
do you find you change your material if you're doing?
You mean in stand-up? I'm talking about working with them in,
let's do that
in the youngers, because you said youngers.
Yes, I did. My apologies.
That's why I was talking about youngers.
I was far, yeah.
But I like that. What's the next one? No. Yeah, youngers working, and when I say working with, I mean that they're actors, and young actors who are enthusiastic. And one of the girls in the piece in Youngers, I remember being in the dressing room, and she goes, "I just give up my job at
oh no,
Burger King.
Oh no,
I just give up because she got this gig." And then you're sitting there in your old self and cynical as you know I am. Yeah. I really wanted to grab her and say, "Phone them, tell them you made a mistake."
It's just one job.
Yeah, it's just one job, but you can't stop
It's
that.
that enthusiasm.
It's her journey,
and
you
you
know.
don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what she could blow up and gone clear, you know. But she was so excited, and then
And it's not coming
I
back.
just told him, I'm gone. I got work. I'm gone. Like that, and I'm sitting there thinking, boy, this is just one gig, you know, babe. You know what I mean? Flip a burger, babe. Flip a burger and do this.
Do you find it hard not telling them that though?
Yeah, I did find it hard, but I had to stop myself.
Right.
Because I'm a parent, and you become a parent to them,
Yeah.
and they don't want that when they're at work, you know. I mean, they think they're big people. Let them be big people, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I was very excited to be around them and that energy and just the noise of it all, man.
It's exciting.
In the dressing room environment, or you know, a canteen or at the lunch breaks or whatever, just the noise.
Yeah.
And a parent, you want to tell them, shut your mouth, shut up. You know, and then when they're noisy and don't know the lines, that annoys me even more. I'm like, hang on a minute. You were just running joke over there. I thought you had it down pat.
And the parent wants to come out.
Yeah, but you kind of have to bite your tongue a bit. But it was good fun. And Bullet Boy was what was that, 5 years ago? But
Is it that long ago?
Long, man. But it was so good. I enjoyed it. Had to audition. Went through 3 auditions, callbacks they call it when you come back. And again, and I ain't got the patience, and I just listen, man. What do you want? I'm talking to the director. What do you want from me?
Is what you're telling the director?
Yeah, and this is a little insight into Curtis Walker why you don't see me much. What do you want from me? What is it you want? Because you tell me what you want. I feel if you tell me what you want this character to do, I can do it. Yeah, but this me doing it and you, it don't help me. It don't help me. So we went through that. I'm going to talk at a school now, but we went through that, and it got to a point where I said, he goes, "Oh, it's just you and another person." And I said, "So who's the other person?" You have to get a little Brixton on it. So who is this other person? Huh? Where live? Where there? Like that. Anyway, I got the gig.
Listen, I know what's been going on. Yeah?
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
And listen, mind what you're saying in my house, you know.
I'm trying to help you, bro.
Leon.
It's a never-ending circle,
Leon.
just going round and round and round. It don't lead nowhere, and I know that.
So have you ever thought about leaving here and going to America like Trevor Etienne?
Oh, wow.
And who's gone? There's been so many.
Idris
has gone.
Trevor, Gary McDonald. I mean, there's so many.
There's so many.
Who's that one from East End? The lady, Tyrese. What was her name? She was in East End.
What character was she playing?
She played Phil's bit on the side of Black.
Oh, I know the lady you're talking about.
She had a
yes.
3-barrel name.
So she's gone. Have you ever thought about going?
Never,
Have you ever thought
never. I went to America with Gina
Yeah.
and John. We did a little tour in New York,
I remember, yeah.
in the village. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
exciting. That was
Yeah.
really exciting. Only because I felt young again, because you had to run from gig to gig. And I've
Literally.
never done that. It's like you do a gig in the factory and then you have to run to Caroline's and you have to run.
Yeah.
And when you get there, you have to beg space. Can I, please? May I? Like that. And that was really took me back to the day. And it made me feel young.
Would you do that again?
Yeah, I'd do that in a heartbeat, man. It was fun. It was fun. And of course challenging every night because it's a different place, different audience, different.
But you're so
rhythms.
quick on it, you know, because obviously when you go to America, it takes 6 years to get around the circuit.
Yeah.
And it's obviously you're picking up because you're very observational.
Yeah.
You can just go on there and do it, and you trust that thing that you trust. Do you think that came, or would that come from the fact of you doing poetry or your acting skills?
No, it's all about. With that, I trust my material.
Right.
So the thing is, when you're doing, obviously, because there's nights it just doesn't go.
Right.
But you got to have material.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be confident in your material.
Yes.
In order to go away from your material.
Mm-hmm.
So when I improvise and play, I mean, I've had nights where I've chatted for an hour.
Wow.
With nothing having been pre-planned or pre-written.
Which I think is excellent.
Which is when the room is right and the mood is right and everybody, you know, and you're firing on all cylinders. Those nights aren't very often, but when they happen, it makes it all worthwhile. But if you go off tangent and you start doing something and talking about something, you've got to have a safety net. And my material is my safety net because I know if I leave it there, I'm bringing it right back, and you wouldn't even notice what the hell just happened.
Because you're very good
You'd be
at
like, what happened? Nothing. Come on, look this way.
Control.
I worked with Ross Noble. You know, and he just freestyles all the time, and his ones are quite outlandish because
he's very much out there.
His mind goes places, but it's fun. I mean, you know, you be in a room like this with certain comedians that you kind of respect, and you banter, and you ain't bringing up the slack, you know.
No,
you're doing more and better. in a room, but you ain't making their kind of money because of the nature of the game we're in, you know, and maybe your face don't fit the criteria, but on a level of performance and ability and talent, I just have that confidence. No one can test me. I stood in front of 64,000 at the Olympics, and I got 4 laughs. Laughs I wasn't supposed to get because it wasn't about being funny.
Right.
But when you hear them thousands of people laughing till it coming at you in an echo, like you hear the laugh, and then you hear the laugh again, and it's the same laugh.
That's great.
But it's travelling like that. So when you talk, you have to, hello, and you have to give it a beat because it's going that far. And I'm like, wow, this is so sexy.
Wow.
Really nice. So in a room, it's confidence, isn't it? It's like
it is confidence. The more you do, the more
you do.
Did your I mean, I spoke a lot about your dad. You can hear a lot of your comedies about your dad. Did he ever come and watch you do stand up?
Never.
Yeah,
My dad didn't respect performing. It wasn't about that. You know, my dad was was trade. He was a working man.
Yeah.
He was a working man. So when you did what we do, he never really got it or understood it. Which, you know, not negative. It's just the way he was, and I kind of appreciated that. You know. I remember when I first started and I did a show on BBC television which is called Wogan. It's an old TV show, chat show.
Wogan,
and I come home excited, you know.
You've been going years,
and I had flowers, they give you flowers, and I brought the flowers to my mum. I said, Mum, it's a flower. And I said, Dad, and Mum said, Dad, you see Curtis step on the telly. Yeah, I see you. Well, hey. You're supposed to put the rubbish out tonight. And it was
back to reality.
That's my dad.
Back
and
to
Dad
reality.
said, look, go put the rubbish out. And that was I remember just having to go and put the rubbish out.
Yeah.
It was the best rubbish put out I ever did, boy.
But that's probably what's kept you grounded. It sounds like.
Well, my dad, there was no illusion about it. Grounded, you know what I mean? I am his son. I am him. I am his son, and I'm proud of that. You know,
it shows.
But sometimes it's detrimental because you don't enjoy the things you should have enjoyed.
Yes.
It's like you talking about the Olympics, and I did the Olympics in such a kind of business-like way, you know. I'm sitting. We was up in the room. I'm sitting. This is David Beckham. You're David Beckham.
Wow.
There's a chessboard here, and he says, "Do you want a game?" And we just turn the table, and I'm sitting down playing chess with David Beckham. And it's a moment.
And you could have selfied that, and you didn't.
Yeah, but it's just the nature of me.
I understand.
And he's rubbish. But that was a moment, and then like we're saying, meeting Oprah Winfrey, meeting Nelson Mandela, and I think if I wasn't so focused on what I'm doing, I would have enjoyed those moments more.
Yes.
And really took a step back and gone, wow, look what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, but my thing is like, if I do step back too much, I'll probably intimidate myself out of it.
Yeah,
you
I understand that. No, I do.
You kind of spoil the work because you're going on stage nervous and thinking, oh my God, this is so much. And really you need to go and concentrate on your lines and your lyrics and what you're saying, and then
because it's about the work. It is about the work at the end of the day.
It is.
Well, I think, you've won quite a few awards, but one of them is the Carlton, the highest
Carlton. But the irony of that is I've never appeared on Carlton.
Isn't that
I
weird?
said that on the night, which is the nature of me. I shouldn't have said it.
You should have never said it.
Why are you giving me this? Because Carlton weren't even making shows with black people in them. And I'm saying, why are you giving me this?
I just
but
love it.
It seemed like it was a time, because
Right.
people at that time I was quite hot and being spoken about in the right circles. And then they gave me this award, and I went to the award ceremony. I picked up the award, which I still got and do appreciate it. But I'd never done a TV show on Carlton television.
Wow.
Yeah, we need to do
like
something. I think now that you've got people like yourself and things like this, where you bring a camera and a light, the world's your oyster, and you can really. But again, like I said, it requires a level of camaraderie, a level of love, and trust between performers and writers.
Yes.
We need a lot more writers.
Yes.
We're struggling for writers.
Yeah.
In terms of comedy, because every comedian writes their own stuff or to a point,
Yes.
and then there's no real sharing of that ability or that skill, and I think that might be different when I was younger. There was a lot of writers around.
Yeah,
and people used to hit you up to write stuff for you, and you used to have to say no thanks, I'm doing it myself, because you was that ignorant. But then when you learn that writers are so important, and they are the kind of crux of any movement.
So that would mean a writer needs to know how you are. They're almost like your
No. It depends what you write. In stand up, yeah, you got to write
stand up.
You know.
But if you're writing a play
or it's like we went and saw Selma,
the
film, and you think about
how did that make you feel?
Same way any film like that makes me feel. When I watched 12 Years, and I realised how powerless I am, because the only power I had was sitting in the seat till every credit roll, and then I got white people trapped that side. They want to get out, but they're scared to say anything because they just watch a movie. And I just sit there, and only reason I'm sitting there is to make them feel uncomfortable that they can't say, "Oh, excuse me, could I?" You know, the cinema when you're
Watch
there.
what?
I'm like that. Wow, I didn't know she made the tea. I'm that low down in the credits. I'm looking at who made the tea.
Yeah.
Oh, really? And it's the only power we've got. But I'm back to the point of the writers. When you look at films like Selma and you look at the speeches, we're all very excited about Martin Luther King's speeches, but those were written.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Somebody, he didn't go up there and freestyle it and ad-lib. Those words were penned by somebody, and they're the most powerful words.
Very powerful.
And I think as performers and everybody in the industry needs to really celebrate writers and when everybody's desperate to be a star or be in front of the camera, you have to realise that the power is in the pen still.
Absolutely, and behind the set.
Yeah,
Really it.
because the joke, you know, you can ad-lib a joke and it's funny, but the one that's written, it can be stronger.
Yes.
Because you take the ad-lib
Yes.
and then you build the story behind the joke
Yes.
and bring it all the
Yes.
way. And, you know, I just wish we celebrated that craft a bit more. Because I know they do schools of comedy in certain places and that, which is about performance, but you need to do a writing workshop in schools of comedy writing.
Yes, because you know it was very much about the writing, wasn't it? And I think that's what's missing. Because I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of change since then. So, what if if a youngster came to you or a new comic came to you, and they said, which I'm pretty sure they always do.
Yeah.
What advice from all what you've just said? What advice would you give them?
I would give them advice of get on stage any way you
Right.
can. Get on stage. That's what I would say. Beg, steal, and borrow and get on stage. There's
Just
a lot.
give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah.
5, 2.
Yeah, literally.
Don't take
2
You know what I mean?
minutes. Yeah.
Because that's a discipline in itself, isn't it? Doing 2 minutes, and that's the way Americans do it. They just do
Yes,
1
2
and
minutes,
2
yeah.
and 3.
And you have to do
We
2 drink minimum.
do 20s and half
Yeah.
hour, 45 and hours, you know.
Yeah.
But really, the discipline is be funny. I would struggle with that.
Yeah.
Be funny in a minute and 2 minutes. Once you got that, I think the world is your oyster.
What? Yeah, and it's to keep
You know?
that.
Yeah.
It's to keep that to
Because
always.
2
have
minutes
got
to
that.
me would be one joke.
Yeah, literally, done. It's over. It's
As
done.
long as it's a strong joke, it would still work, innit? It would still work. So as long as the setup's funny, the journey to the joke is funny, I could still do that.
So,
But yeah, that's the advice I would give. Get on stage. And as many times as you can, get on stage. Don't worry about getting paid, just worry about getting funny.
right, because everybody wants to get paid, and it's like
We
no,
all want to
be
get
funny.
paid, but you get paid more if you're funny.
Yes, yeah,
You understand?
yeah,
So if you're
Totally.
funny, you could have done work for nothing for the last 2 years.
yeah.
When it's time to pay you now, they'll pay you properly because, boy, you're good.
You're good.
You know what I mean?
So what's next?
Next for me
Curtis Walker.
is just stand up and, like we said, writing. I'm going to write. I'm going to do some more writing, and I'm definitely going to invest in some smaller cameras and some backlights.
Mr. Curtis Walker.
Miss Donna Spence.
All I can
Is it
say
still
to you-
Miss?
It's still Miss.
Oh.
Well, the Spence will always be there.
Right.
Why, was you thinking of marrying me?
No, I
first?
heard that was on the cards.
That I was getting married.
Yeah.
You would so be at my wedding. I promise
Okay.
you that.
Look.
But is there a Mrs. Walker?
There hopefully will be soon.
Oh,
I'm looking for her, man.
That's lovely. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm looking for her. You know, you're getting older, you want to settle down, man.
This is the time now.
I'm looking.
That's good.
Yeah.
Keep on looking.
Maybe-
She may not be in this country. She
I
might
hope.
be.
I hope she isn't.
You hope she's not.
No.
You want to find her in Jamaica.
No, God no. Oh God no. I'm joking. Wherever you find love, you take it. You know what I mean?
I
I'm
totally
thinking
agree.
more St. Lucia. I want to do
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of the
Feeling
smaller
you.
islands.
Yeah, St. Vincent's another good one. Martinique.
Them ones where you can just impress them with a watch.
Times have moved on, you know, Curtis.
And
They
some-
actually know about Gucci now.
And some electric
They actually know about Gucci.
light switch. Ah! Oh, you got light switch? Ah! Yes, baby. That's
You're
what we roll.
crazy, you are. You before I go, you've actually performed in the Caribbean as well. How is that?
That's fun. That's just fun because the sun's shining. Do you know what I mean?
Clearly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Clearly.
I don't know how you can say it's terrible.
No, but in terms of your comedy, when you're doing comedy, and is it, you know, if you're talking about the locals, or is it, have you been, you know, when they've planned a trip from the UK to?
Yeah, I went a few times. Once was with the BBC where we did a radio play,
Oh, right.
a piece for Radio 4. And they took me
Oh, that's good.
and set it all up, and it was fantastic. And then when you, it's just fun. That's my as much as we're British and I live in England but that's my heartbeat. So
Yes.
when I go to Jamaica, it's my heartbeat. I get it. I get it. The
It
good, the
feels
bad,
right.
and the ugly. I get it all. And then you find where you want to make the, But Jamaica as an audience, or the ones that go to those shows at the little theatre and so on, it's very interesting because sometimes they're a bit more upmarket than you are, or they pretend to be, and it's weird seeing that.
Pretend to be.
Yeah, you know that our parents did it with the speaky spoken
absolutely.
thing. And there's a lot of that goes on in Jamaica when they think, the
uptown.
definite class
yes,
structure.
yeah,
I just
very much so.
hate all of that. So
Is it obvious
Yeah,
when you're there? It's
yeah,
quite
it's obvious, especially in theatre land, because they're all very arty.
Right.
And they do theatre the way we believe theatre should be performed.
Yes.
And which it has a place, of course. But drama and theatre is so, you cannot class it. You cannot. You look at films like Slumdog Millionaire,
Yes.
which in India very much of a class structure, and there would be outcry about that film in certain circles of Asian community because it highlighted something they really don't want to talk about. And there's a lot of that goes on in Jamaica. There's a lot going on down that people don't want to talk about. You kind of ignore the fact that person's broken down the money and down the food and living on the side of the road for the last 2 years. They don't talk about that. But it's a reality. It's a part of the reality. Yeah,
Is there any regrets? Is there anything you wish you had done?
I had done?
As in your career of comedy, acting, writing, is there anything you wish I could do?
No.
That's excellent.
No. There's stuff I wish, I hope to do.
Right.
Yes. Hope to
but
do.
There's no regrets.
But there's not, man, I've had
That's
a blessed
excellent.
blessed life. You know what I mean?
And if there was a role, if you were writing a drama series for yourself.
For myself?
For your, you wrote it and you were putting yourself in that.
Yeah.
What would you write yourself in to be? What role would you play?
What role would I play? Wow.
Yeah.
A hero. I suppose I would want to be a hero, whatever form that took. I don't mean like superhero, but it would have to be positive.
Yes.
It would have to be a positive role. I'd love to see a black man playing a positive role.
Yeah, totally agree.
I still would. I probably said that when I was 15, and I'm still saying it today. Where I know every hero has to have to give a kind of arc of the character, he has to have a failing or something. If he's a brilliant detective, he's got to be alcoholic. If he or he's got to beat his wife or whatever, or not be have a wife. But it'd be nice to just have an out and out hero played by a black man. That would be nice, And when I say hero, it could just be a local hero.
Yeah, but you want so you would write. So the character you would write for yourself is someone being that hero.
And a hero can be a man that's raising his children and doing it really well.
Right.
To me,
but that's so important.
Yeah.
I think that people don't realise that's really, really important.
Yeah, and that to me is a hero. My dad was my hero. As much as he didn't like me and we didn't really get on.
Yeah.
He's my hero because he was honest and he was himself.
Which
in every
you are.
circumstance. And to the embarrassment of my mum sometimes, he was too much himself because no matter if he was meeting queens and kings or road sweepers, my dad was the same and consistently so. I remember I did a show for, what's the chef's name? Gordon Ramsay. And I did a show where, it was a live show where we went to Brighton to that place where Cherry Tree, the West Indian woman cooking soul. No, American.
The American
Southern soul food. Mama
like
Cherry.
Mama Cherry.
So we did a show because she and him were friends and they had a big hit with her bread. So they did a live thing and I was asked to host it, and we were invited down to her restaurant in Brighton. And I said, Charles, let me take my dad because he'd come over from Jamaica and he was here on holiday and whatever. So I said, let me take my dad. And we went there and there's about 12 people and she's laid on all of this food, man. Of her, this woman has just, been blown up as the greatest chef in Brighton or something like that. And my dad took the food,
I can imagine.
Oh, man. But that's actually done what they call canapes.
Yeah.
So everything is kind of reduced to minuscule portions. And my dad picked it up and he said, Where this? And she goes, there's a candy yam. Candy, what yam? What kind of yam? And my dad's farmer, so he wanted, what kind of yam this? Yam? What's yam? Yellow yam? What's yam this? And he was to break down what kind of, I don't know. It's just, I know yam this. And he flew that there. And he's gone through about 12 things. And he go, give me that piece of chicken. That's the best thing. That not taste bad. And that was the most compliment he paid the woman. That not taste bad. And this is a woman that is on telly cooking. And you're there, but like,
How did you feel?
I just laughed. That's my dad. I'm laughing. I don't even apologise for that man. I never apologise for him. Never. He probably.
You made me feel better about my own dad
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
seriously, because he's just as
How is
ignorant.
this?
So that's funny.
No matter where you took him. How is this? Yeah?
Oh my words! So he never came to none of the shows.
Never came to any of the shows.
But so now you're a father.
Yep.
Do you find how different are you from your dad with your children?
I'm extremely different, I think, but they don't think.
Of course not.
I think I'm a wonderful, wonderful person.
Of course, great dad.
But
aren't you?
they constantly say that you're just like one.
Do you spoil them rotten?
I used to, but they're big people now, so they can spoil me a bit.
And
You
do
know?
they?
No.
You better ask for what
One
you
of
want.
them
They asked for what they wanted. So
One
you
of
better
them
ask
made
for
me
what you want.
toast once.
Wow. Was it
Big
right?
Deal. No. It's a big deal to him, bro. And every year he said, "They're gonna make you toast." 12 years ago, man. Let it go.
What is he going to be in the arts at all?
No. One wants to do musical engineering, so he wants to be a studio-based guy, which is cool because his temperament's like that. He's very quiet and so. And one's going to be I don't know, boy, but whatever he does, he's going to be phenomenal.
Oh,
he's
excellent.
graphics mad. He's an artist
cool.
in graphic. He could teach. He's brilliant, and they're both at university studying. And
So
they're
both creative.
both creative people, but they're one is better than the other.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. One of them is going to be.
You're not supposed to say that,
One of them is going to be awesome, and the other one is like me. Oh bless, Lord Curtis. Boy, Curtis. You know, my mum used to pray when we do the dinner table. My mum used to say the prayer. Dear Lord, please look after everyone. Lord, bless you for the thing, and Lord Curtis. Curtis. That's story time.
And on that note, I'm going to say, Mr. Curtis Walker, thank you so much for joining me on Comedy on the Sofa.
Thank you. I hope I
love
didn't
being
chat
around
too
you.
much, babe. But
You know
fun.
what? We had a phenomenal
It's
time.
been a
I thank
pleasure.
you. See you soon.
See you soon, girlfriend.